Hey everybody, I'm Rousseau and I do a little work here and there. You are watching Raconteur Weekly. And this week I'm going to talk a little bit about the channel's future, at least its near future, and more specifically I'm going to talk about Blood Bowl. You know, I hate to take sides, but you want to talk about best board game, then you probably want to talk about Blood Bowl. PC, console versions, they've been hit or miss. Blood Bowl 2, maybe next year, when they add the rest of the teams, you know, when they finish the game, it might actually be pretty good. But we're talking about minis. We're talking about stuff with crafting potential. And I would say I got quite a few projects going. Each of these plastic boxes houses a single team, each of which is in a state of flux. Some are more finished than others. We'll take a look at some of the more finished of the teams. Of course, you know, I got the box, so I got the teams that came in the box. I got humans and orcs, and I like the humans more than I like the orcs. With this particular human team, you can add an ogre, and you're pretty much set. The orcs, I kind of want to get another copy of the team, because they don't give me exactly what I want for a roster out of the box. Of course, that's where the custom teams come in. If you've been around for a while, you've already seen my Skaven team, and for the Skaven team, I didn't actually have to get that many boxes of miniatures. And of course, my Skaven team is using official GW products. It's a box of Plague Monks. If you want a Rad Ogre, you know, there are a lot of options for that. Speaking of official GW minis, you might have seen people using Dark Eldar for Dark Elves. And me, yeah, I've done that too, but I like to just call them Dark Eldar. As long as you stick to the official roster, I don't see any problem with it. So I have my Jericho 3 Jaguars. Of course, after I made this Dark Eldar team, I got to thinking, like I said, as long as you stick to the official roster, you should be able to do pretty much anything you want, barring GW-sanctioned tournaments, but I don't know that those happen that often anymore, considering that Games Workshop doesn't really support the title outside of PC and console releases that are more or less severely crippled. So I've got a necromantic team that's made of Iron Hand Space Marines. Seems appropriate to me. Instead of being reanimated corpses, they replace their body parts with machines. So it's pretty similar. This is a white, so it's a Space Marine with a skull head. And I do like to support the community as well. So one of the other teams I have is Dwarves. This is a test piece that I painted, and this dwarf is from a team made by Atomico. He's done a few Kickstarters, one for Dwarves, one for Amazons, a few other ones that aren't Blood Bowl related, but they're still pretty cool. And that's sort of where I'd like to go in the future. I think painting is fun, but it's not really that fun to watch. I think, you know, you've seen one thing painted, you've seen most things painted. There are a few techniques that are interesting, but painting a team for a series of videos seems like a waste of videos to me when you could be doing more interesting things. So, one of those more interesting things, we're going to get into some sculpting. But what are some other projects we could work on in relation to Blood Bowl? Well, I have announcers, color commentators if you will. One is a Cairn Wraith, the other is Chaos Demon Sorcerer Lord, I believe. And I made him a little desk, sort of a placeholder. I might make a better desk at some point. This is just craft sticks and toothpicks. Of course, if you're going to go to this level of detail, you probably need a camera crew. These are some older Eldar 40K figures, pieces of a gunner set. Of course, the gun is missing. You don't really need a gun for a camera crew, I don't guess. And not everything needs to be a large project. Every team is going to need counters, and the counters that come with the game aren't exactly appropriate to the teams that I've been putting together. So each team is going to need reroll counters and turn counters and all sorts of things like that. Apothecaries, maybe bands, who knows? You gotta put on halftime shows, right? And in addition to those counters, you are going to need templates to go with the game. Especially if you're making a new pitch, one that's in a different scale. I have plenty of guys that have 40mm bases, and the pitch that comes with the game is just not quite big enough for them, especially if they get knocked over, which, you know, happens sometimes. So this is definitely a project that I'm going to have to work on at some point, because, you know, you can see through these things, and that's important, I suppose. Also the distances between the sides, between the different lines for different types of passes, all of that's important, and that's something that we'll definitely get around to eventually. But yeah, this is just sort of an update, to let you know over the next few weeks the sorts of things that I'm going to be talking about. I think it's still applicable to most miniatures type games that you're going to be working on. Maybe you don't like Blood Bowl. Maybe you just haven't played Blood Bowl. I assume that's the case. I mean, who doesn't like Blood Bowl? But, you know, just a few things to think about moving forward. If there's anything in particular you'd like to see, comment section. You know what to do. And until next time, you've been watching Raconteur Weekly on Russo Works, and I'm Rousseau. Out.